The black woman is God.
I raise my flag for my sister, sister. 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 I raise my flag.
Where is the pride within us?
Right.
And if we say, like how we said, the family structure has been broken apart. We're here like now in the 2023. 70% of us, 70 to 80% of us are unmarried. 70, 80% of us, have kids out of wedlock. When do we actually say that it matters who we connect with, who we bond with? And like, let's just say, because everybody say, oh, I was young. Okay. I remember our grandparents, like, they were having kids like 14, 15 years old. That's what I remember. My grandma had her first kid at 14. Both of them. My other grandma was 15. We're talking about teenagers. Teens. When I was growing up, I know our standard was 18 years old and you were out the house. Okay? Okay.
Right.
18, goodbye. Our parents be singing, you almost 18. Time ticking. Time ticking. You know what I mean? Because that's when you were an adult.
Right.
We keep stretching it out. In the DSM today, you're technically, what they say in psychology today, and this is the truth, you're not an adult until you're 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? You are not an adult until you are 40 years old.
Wow.
You're a young adult all the way up until then. At 40, that's when you actually supposed to grow into some maturity. So
I can never understand that whole, you 18, you're an adult, you can go fight for your country, but you can't buy alcohol and you can't get in the club. But you can go die for your country at 18 years old.
You can go also drink in those other countries you fight in.
You can go at 17 to the military.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So it's like, we have to, I think what we lost as a culture is understanding that we're not the same as everybody else.
Right.
And I think it's okay. I think we feel bad that we like excluding people. So what? Everybody excludes us.
Right. They do.
Nobody, I'm telling you, when you work in business and you work with these other cultures, they do not care about us.
Yeah.
They're looking at us. They waiting for us to, the crazy part about it is they're waiting for us to get it together. They're waiting for us to finally say enough is enough. But they'll keep using us until then.
Yeah.
All the Indians, all the Arabs in our neighborhoods, all the Chinese. Are you kidding? We can't do nails. Are you kidding? Shoot, we can make Chinese food.
Way better.
In Brooklyn, on Flatbush Ave, there's a whole Chinese spot that makes soul food. Are you kidding me?
Yep. I know a lot of Chinese
people go there.
Food.
People go there to eat soul food from the Chinese.
I'm sorry.
I swear to you, I can't make it up. I swear I can't make it
right.
up. It's a huge joint over in Harlem and on Flatbush Avenue. Y'all know. Tell me I'm lying. Where everybody go after a graduation or something and go eat some soul food.
Wow.
From the Chinese people.
Wow.
Right on Flatbush Ave. So it's like, this has to stop. Like, we have to start. We don't trust, like, they have broken our trust for each other. First, it started off with the family. Then it started off with the external family. Because everybody used to be close to their cousins. Now you go to family reunion. I'm not saying for everybody. I'm just saying, listen, this is how I know it is. You go to family reunion, you're like, I didn't know that cousin when I was younger. F him.
Right.
You wasn't at grandma's house.
Right. I don't remember him. I don't remember them. I don't remember them.
I don't know nothing about them.
But like back in the day, like it was like you could come to the house. It didn't even matter who you were, if I knew you or not.
Yeah.
You were family.
Yep.
And everybody just fell on in, and like if they didn't know you, they got to know you. You know,
right?
And they were like, "You here? You must be family." You know what I'm saying?
You must be.
You must be. You here? You about to eat with us? You about to kick with us? You must be family. Let me figure out and find out who you are, so that we can keep in touch as family members. And and I had
used to mean something.
Used to take us to Toledo. We lived in Pontiac, but he used to take us to Toledo every year to this big. We had a family reunion every year, and at my grandma's house. And every year I meet new cousins. Every year, and I look forward to it. I look forward to it. Or hooking up with my cousins in Toledo that I hadn't seen in a year.
Yeah. And that's what it used to be. It's like how Courtney said before, like 15 years ago, it was different. Literally 15 years ago. When you met up with family, you're like, oh, we're a cousin. Oh, I didn't even know. What's up? How you doing? Now it's like, I don't know them.
Mm-mm. And don't care to know them either.
Right. And don't.
But it's sad. But it's like we have to try to build that bond back. Like what happened? We have
trust.
Trust.
That's what happened.
Trust, but also a real instillment of us being like a culture, like how you said Black, and it meaning something. Like it's not okay to say like, oh, I don't care if my kids or whatever, but you're not going to see you anymore.
Right.
Is that okay? Is it okay?
That goes back to that pressure we talked about in the last episode.
Yeah.
That pressure of acceptance and fitting in, and not wanting to be the person who is this back road, back whatever. Oh, you can't blah, 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 blah. They don't want to be that because it's hatred. They don't want to spew the hatred, but they don't care about erasing their bloodline.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I'm tired of us being the only race of people who are sympathetic towards other races who are not sympathetic towards us.
Right.
But we've always been like that.
Because we birthed everybody.
That's right.
We're the mothers and the fathers of this whole entire planet. Right.
So
and we're letting our children run amok.
But how do you change that feeling?
Because you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, how do you change that feeling when it's in you to be a nurturer. It's in you to be, you know what I'm saying? Like it's in you. I've never, ever in my life, I don't care how mad I've ever been. I've been in a lot of fights. I've been in a lot of different things. And I've never wanted to like deliberately kill a person. Right. I've never wanted to hang a person. I've never wanted to harm a baby. I've never wanted to make another person do something for me. Right. I've never wanted any of that.
Okay.
But I do always want to help.
Right.
I do always want to understand.
And that's the
that's always been our nature.
And that's
always been our nature.
That's our downfall too, because I think about this. I agree with both of what you're saying. I don't think, like, in my heart of hearts, I would never want to. I would never want to.
I can't see myself doing it.
Yeah, I don't. But then again, I know there were certain points in history. I think about the Haitian Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think about Toussaint.
Mm-hmm.
Where he had to say, you know what? We got to X out some of these Black people who are on the other side.
Yeah.
You know what he felt? you know what he had to think about? So I'm just saying, to even push the doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would have been literally the death of them. At least Haitian people are still around to even be here. But if Toussaint didn't intervene when he did, there would probably be no Haiti right now.
Right. That's right. Shout out to my Haiti family.
Shout out.
Shout out to
Okay.
Haiti.
But there would be no Haiti. Now, I mean, we can talk a lot about a lot of things that happened after that, all other stuff. But if it wasn't for the Haitian Revolution, us Americans here, when I say, you know what? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Your Haitian cousins, especially Louisiana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where all this was going back and forth, y'all got all the intel.
Yep.
And passed it along to the rest of us. You know what they doing in Haiti? You know what my cousin said he doing? You know what they about to plan?
Mm-hmm.
We can do that here.
We sure can.
Now
Today,
like, word? Word?
Today, right now.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, at one point, you know, we all had the same goal, the same mission as Black people. White people have the same goal and mission.
They do.
So I don't want to hear that, oh, I'm French, I'm Italian, I'm German. Now, the Russians might be a little bit, you know what I'm saying? They might be a little different from everybody else, you know? There's always that one group. And like, you know, for everybody else.
Yo, you know,
the Russians don't mess with the rest of the whites. I'll tell you that right
They
now.
don't.
They don't mess with the rest of the whites.
They do
They
not.
don't.
If you are
I don't know who that English.
They hate everybody that ain't them. The refugees. They hate everybody that ain't them. Okay?
You are not us.
Okay? You are not me. I don't know who you are. You go
And
ahead.
how dare you?
Right.
And how dare you?
Okay.
How dare you? I will cut your head off today. And nobody will question me. Not a single.
That's something that, that doesn't usually happen. But I'm just saying we have to, there's a general consensus amongst majority of the whites. Let's just say that.
That's true.
Majority of them.
That's true.
Have you Italian, Greek, Russian, not Russian, Italian, Greek, French,
Irish.
Swedish, Irish, Scottish, English. It doesn't matter. You are under the same path. Okay? And it might have been something that was picked up more in the 1930s because they weren't even considered white before then. White is a stature.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
stature.
Right. That's right.
It's not even really a race. It doesn't even really make sense.
It's
race
not,
was created. American. It was American.
A white person will not say they white. They'll say what their culture is. They'll say what their nationality is. They might be American.
There you go.
They like if you say, "Hey, are you white?" They won't say, "No, my mom's Italian and my dad's Polish or whatever."
There were nations,
right?
See, America made a race. There was no such thing before then.
Right.
There were nations. You got to think we are people that have been around for maybe 1 million years. Mm-hmm. Real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Exactly.
We ain't gonna come into some problems. What you saying?
So remember when oh girl, what's her name? Raven Simone.
Oh yeah.
She said that she didn't want to be addressed as African American because she had never been to Africa. She only knows America.
Yeah.
And she's an American. And she feels like everybody who has been born here should be just Americans. Yeah. And I really agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't have anything to do with your culture. Like you said, those people say, no, I'm Swedish, I'm Polish, I'm French.
Americans say that. American white people say that. They don't even say they're American. They say what they daddy and their mama was.
So why is that okay for us to not have that?
I would say because when you go through the real background of where we came from, all of us technically came from Africa. So we should say, oh, we're
At some
African.
point in time, yeah.
You
At
know
some
what
point
I'm
in
saying?
time,
So,
yeah.
but there was a piece of history, a chunk of history that's taken out that did not show that a lot of us didn't come from Africa.
Right. Well, or we came from Africa a long time ago. See,
But
like
that's
what I
the same
think.
as me saying we
Yes.
all originally came from
Originally.
Africa.
Originally. Yeah,
But
originally.
there was generations of
Absolutely.
individuals who were here already,
For
which
thousands
were
of years. For
Right.
thousands of years. For thousands
Right.
of years. Absolutely.
that
prior
means that
prior to the floods, prior to
Correct.
the
Absolutely.
floods, when it
Correct.
was just one landmass,
Yeah.
our people, black people, Nubian, African, Asiatic people travel
Yes.
all over this one landmass
Absolutely.
That's right.
before it was divided into all of the different continents.
Absolutely.
So that's why it was already people over here.
Yeah, we was already here.
So
We was here.
but we was already here, you know.
Right.
But it's like I don't even consider American a nationality. I just consider it a geographical location because everybody here is something else. They're not.
The earth was our domain. That's what we don't, people don't realize. We were the first navigators of the entire earth. We were here. We was in Europe. We was in Russia. Ask them who Alexander Pushkin is, okay? I guarantee them. They still pray to a black Madonna, a black Mary in Russia today.
Mm-hmm.
So they
pray to a black Madonna in the
history.
Vatican. They pray to a black Madonna in the Vatican still too.
Yes, it's still in the Vatican, the Black Moor, right on the Vatican their garden. On their little symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the history is known. We don't acknowledge it. Like they have, like, especially those 400 years where they said you can't read. There was a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
They needed you to forget who you were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew you were passed down ignorance from generation to generation because you don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I took your language from you. I took your culture from you. I took your family from you. I took your dignity from you. I took everything from you.
And I burned down your libraries.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Not before they stole all the literature.
And I took all your information too.
Yep.
Not before they stole all the books.
Oh, yeah.
And claimed that they wrote them all.
Oh yeah, I went to Egypt and took all your stuff, everything you had in America
They burned down
too.
the libraries after they stole all the books.
Oh yeah,
Man, I
all
had
that
this little girl. I had this little girl tell me that Asians were the smartest individuals. They were the first people with knowledge, and I said, "No, baby girl, no. Everybody traveled to Africa for knowledge.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you did not go to Africa for your knowledge, you did know nothing.
Every
And
one
more
of their
traveled.
Yeah, every single one of their gods came to Africa to learn.
That's right.
Yep.
It's a fact.
She's like, can I Google that?
Yeah, Google it. I'm gonna take it out. Google it. Tell me I'm wrong. I always tell people, I bet you $1,000. Go ahead.
But I always say cross-reference. Don't you go to the first one you see.
Yeah.
I need you to cross-reference that thing a few times.
Yeah.
Even when you were in school, they asked you to tag 3 resources.
Yeah.
I need you to cross-reference as much as you possibly can.
Absolutely.
But but if we go back to the culture of today, and how can we change it, and how can we reach these younger ones to even start to indoctrinate, how you say the word, that in a culture, we have to first understand the one that's happening. And the one that's happening right now is the culture of attention.
Absolutely.
Not only is our children affected by it, but everybody's children.
Oh yeah. Across the board,
because everybody's children are affected by it. Everybody is gonna have to do something. Because when the suicide rate in our children is going up 50 to 70% every year.
Yeah.
Young girls, young boys.
Yeah.
Every year it's going up because that's a huge rate.
Yeah.
And when we see those things, going back to what you said, Shep, and going back to what you said, God, is like, There is no code of anything when there's somebody on the internet that will say that's okay.
Right.
You said you wanted to be a giraffe today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna print a shirt that says we can be giraffes. And I'm gonna come and I'm gonna hold a sign out and I'm going to support you, because if you want to be a giraffe, you should be able to be a giraffe.
Right.
But then when you get the right to be a giraffe, now you also want us to fund your land you're living on and fund the food you're eating and fund all the different things that you need in order for you to turn into a giraffe.
Right. And they all backing off of us, off of our original struggle, So it's like, I think, a big thing, like, and I know it's hard, but it's like, we have to, I asked the question earlier, is it our fault? I kind of believe it is.
Mostly, but
I do believe it is. I didn't say wholly. I said, when I say I believe it is because I know, me growing up, like, even if my parents or my friends' parents, I won't say my parents, because I did see, Black culture. They did tell me, we were the creators, we were the Egyptians, we were this, we were that, we were, we were the Indians, we were all, I heard all that, but I did, when I was younger, not really fully ingrain it in myself. Because, it didn't seem, necessarily that important at the time. You know what I mean?
And that's not what was being mirrored to you either.
Huh?
That wasn't what was being mirrored to you. Mirrored to you either.
Right. That too. So it's like, okay, I heard it. So at least, thank God, like when I heard it again, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I did hear about that Black Power stuff. About like how we was like the original people. I'm like, I did. See, but I had the seed. I at least had the seed. These kids don't have the seed.
They do have the seed.
Some of them do, but it's like I couldn't.
No. What they're seeing is what everybody else is putting in front of them. That's what they're seeing, and that's what they're imitating, and that's what that's being downloaded into them and in their brains. So when I was younger, my dad used to always say, don't watch too much television. It tells lies visually. And I'm like, man, turn on the Saturday morning cartoons. What are you talking about? Pinky and the Brain is on, bro. Like, I'm trying to watch.
Right.
I'm trying to see how we're going to take over the world today. Like, I don't understand.
Like, ain't Sonic the Hedgehog on or something? Like, okay. That was my show. But anyway, go ahead.
And now the internet is full of both lies and truths. And it's hard for our children to decipher so much when it's so much of information.
Too much. There you go. The information. You just made me remember something, Courtney. I remember my grandma, she used to be like, oh, you watch too much TV. You watch too much TV and all that. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, and I remember when Nickelodeon came out, like when it was like, like really popping. My grandma was like, how is there cartoons 24 hours? There wasn't that time. And see, they had to slowly ease you into it. So I remember on Nickelodeon, they'd have, after you come home from school, at first, most of us didn't have no cable. Right. There was no Nickelodeon. It was what was on when you got home, and around 5 or 6 o'clock, the news came on. It was adult time from that point on. Okay, that's what I remember, except for TGIF Fridays. It was our time, what I mean? But then once Nickelodeon start coming out, the Cartoon Network. Well, once people start
Disney Channel,
let's just say start getting cable. Once we as Black people, because white people had it before us,
and we didn't have TVs in our room.
Didn't have that. We didn't have that. Like, I distinctly remember having a black and white TV.
We had a TV in our room, and we was the only kids on our street.
There you go. The only kids
And
on
we
the
had
street.
cable in our room, and our
Okay.
friends would come over and watch like MTV and stuff like that with us all the time because they didn't have that in their room, you know.
Yeah,
And
we didn't get TVs
and their
in our
mom or their brother or somebody would
No
call
way. TV in the bedroom,
so
see,
they couldn't watch what they
culture.
wanted to
There we
watch.
go. One point.
We had that when we came into a different age, like 10, 11, then we had a TV in our room, but we
You
always
had
had
TVs in your room back in the day.
Yeah,
Like I said, I was a kid. You ain't get no color TV. What do you mean?
I've never seen a
here
TV
on
not
Flowers
color.
Avenue and get TV they didn't fix, and you better
Oh my
fix it. You know what I mean? But that's what it was, and it was.
You know what? Me and my sister was talking about that a couple of weeks ago. We were just talking about that. She was like, "Shelly, do you know we had a TV in our room with cable? Hey, none of our friends had that."
Okay, snap. Okay.
I was like, you know, and you sit back and you think, and the whole time you a child, you whining about how you want to be grown. And we had so doggone good as children. You know what I'm saying? And we had the code of ethics then. We had we were disciplined correctly. And our parents, our parents was there and they taught us things that we needed to know. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so sad and unfortunate to see that a lot of children now don't have that and don't know anything about that.
It gave us hard lessons too. It's like I remember, my parents saying like, when I would come home with a 90 or 100, something like that, they'd be like, "That's what you're supposed to do." There was no parade thrown. Mm-mm. There was no like, "Oh, you did great." No, this is what you're supposed to do. And that, like back then, I was like, "What? Damn." Right. I'm like, I can't get acknowledgement, nothing.
Right.
But it was like they were preparing me for the world. Nobody's going to blow out no balloons for you. You're not going to have the red carpet because you did well. My dad used to always tell me, he's like, you got to do 3 times better than anybody white. He said, there is no rest here. Mm-hmm. That's what my father would tell me all the time. He was hard on me. And back then I didn't realize, like, why is he so hard on me? Why is he? Now I do. And I'm glad he was relentless while he could be.
Yeah.
While he could be. Because they was working on the other side, trust me. The white man was working hard to take him down. But while he could be, he was relentless with it. And it was on all in my critical stages of life, from 0 to 7, where you need that instilled in you to become a person. Mm-hmm. Those are the most crucial parts of your life, from 0 to 7 years old. That's the smartest you will ever be. Mm-hmm. After that, it starts to slow down.
Mm-hmm. If you absorb, you're an absorber.
Yeah. You absorb anything. You can learn 10 languages at 3 years old.
It's like you like an absorber, and everything you can take everything in.
You're a sponge.
Lock it in. You don't have anything blocking you. You don't know anything else. You're open. No. You're open. Once you start getting fed
and learning other stuff,
start coming up,
and hearing other stuff, and seeing other stuff.
Right.
When the world gets a hold of you, that's what happens. The world get a hold of you.
Yeah. That's when you start.
Man, I don't know. Now, I know that's what we were taught. I say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we're going back to the changing of culture and the changing of the environment, right? And so now what I'm seeing is just not that for these children, because when I tell my oldest, bruh, if you don't turn in your work, you're going to get a 0. These teachers call him and allow him to get millions of chances.
The environment.
He said, well, do you know that if you gave him 1 0, and he see how hard it is to pull that 1 0 up, you wouldn't have to keep calling me.
You wouldn't have to left back in the day. back in the day.
Man, there
Grass
was
could
no
be 20
teachers.
in 10th grade. Keep playing
Man,
around.
Right.
These
Keep playing.
teachers,
I knew somebody
And
21
but it's
years
like,
old in my high school.
it's a lot of teachers now though that just be passing
Well, it's
these
not the
kids and they
teachers,
don't know
it's the
nothing.
system.
it's
that too.
system.
But
It is the system. But if we're going to talk about teachers, we got to talk about the real of what the problem is with the teachers today. And the problem is they're not properly trained
Nah,
or
That's one of
compensated.
them.
nah.
We
They're
need to talk
not
about that,
properly.
too.
They are not properly trained to deal with these emotional children
Absolutely not.
in this emotional world. They don't have that.
No.
They do not. And they don't have the proper. We all learned back in the day that even when I've never taken psychology, but I know for a fact that there is like what 5 or 6 different learning styles. So you can't sit all these children in one way, and they ain't even learning in none of the 5 learning styles anymore.
No, not at all. They put everybody in one group, and like that's how they expect them to learn. Like, I mean, y'all know I was teaching for I don't know, like 10 years or something like that.
But
They tell us we can't. It's like when things happen with the children, like that's why I had to leave the school system. So I was like, I'm gonna catch a case up in here, okay, against the principal or something. Okay, I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I'm gonna end up on the news. I know it. I just know it, right?
but why is it that everything on this planet upgrades itself except for the classroom? The classroom needs to be upgraded
because they need to dumb down the population. See, like I said, it's like I always think about this. My mind. They have to dumb us down. Pac said this. Not y'all gonna hear me throughout. You know, our whole podcast. I'm always gonna refer to Tupac. My husband introduced me to him, and I just like fell in love with Tupac and Nas. Okay, I'm like they are brilliant. So Pac always said,
Nas man. Oh my God.
Oh, forget Nas. Forget it. But Pac said, before I think computer chips, I got to deal with brothers flipping.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't even go. It's like right now we're talking about race. We're talking about our culture and all that. It's such a bigger echelon of that. It's so much bigger than this.
It is.
Okay. But we have to deal with us first. We didn't even conquer this. We didn't even conquer us.
Right.
Let alone dealing with the real issues. Because we could really, I mean, we could go even run and be like, yo, race is a whole construction. This is meant, like, it's meant to bring down everybody. Like, I mean, I could go into everybody being brought down. They're feminizing men across the board.
Across the board.
Yeah, across the board.
I was seeing when back in Brooklyn, you know how many daddy daycares and they was sitting up in there in the damn Prospect Park? Wasn't working.
They got daddy daycares?
What? Girl. In Brooklyn, in Prospect Park, the men would meet together with their damn kids while their wives was out working. All the white dads. I'm not talking about no black dads, Hispanic. No, I'm talking about the white dads. You hear what I'm saying? Okay. See, but the difference, and we're going to go into this, like, I want to actually touch on this our next episode.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I'm going to send y'all some information, but I want y'all to watch this because I will say what's different between us and some other races and what I have observed and what has been written in history. They don't leave their men stranded.
They don't.
They don't leave our men stranded either.
Huh?
You right. You said they don't. They don't.
They don't.
When we leave them stranded, they go pick them up.
Okay,
and drag them home with them.
Okay. So and that's something we have to.
That'll give you a job.
Yes.
And they don't
like,
care.
you don't want
them. They don't care. They can be doing the bare minimum, and they want them. They gonna have them. They gonna
not
take
at all.
Yep.
And they know what their race produces. They know that they're dying out. See, this is another thing. They only 10%. We sit there. They like to see the white man now. One thing that he's great at is manipulation.
Absolutely.
And psychology and deception. He make you think. They'll call you the minority.
But we're not. Right. I say that all the time.
10% of the damn earth. 10%.
I tell people that all the time.
And it's shocking.
We're not.
It's like black people can't believe it.
We are
Yeah,
not the
No way.
minority.
No, what do you mean?
I've had literal arguments with Black people about this. I'm like, yo, everywhere around the world, we are there.
Even
10%.
in this country, it don't make
we
sense
are
to me.
there.
Even
Okay.
in this country, it don't make sense to me. How
Okay.
is it that we
I think they
outnumber
lied about the damn
everybody?
numbers.
We outnumber everybody in the
I said, I don't
penal
know if there's
system,
that many
in
white
prison.
people. I don't know.
But
y'all
we don't. Why are we the majority in prison?
But y'all know that that's when the whole everything messed up, was when white people started writing things down on paper. Ever since there was
It makes
things
it-
written down on paper, they have
Absolutely.
paperwork us to death.
Absolutely.
Pencil whip the hell out of your ass.
Okay, through the
Absolutely.
paperwork. They have erased whole cultures, whole ethnicities
Yep.
through
Yes,
paperwork.
they have still doing
And
it.
that's what they
Still
do.
doing it.
They erase our whole identity
Through
from
paper.
writing stuff down. Talking about it was written down.
Mhm.
Yep. Did you read it? You read it.
They
And
good
we
at
gonna
that
give it to you for free.
Okay.
You ain't even gotta buy this. We gonna
Right.
give it.
They
This is what
wrote
we
that
said.
damn 40 acres and a mule down. Them motherfuckers still ain't came through with that shit.
They burn them papers. They don't have that. No, they don't have no recollection of that.
And they have you thinking like you crazy. I swear.
Right.
And they'll have you looking at you feeling like you don't
Yeah.
know that.
Right.
Of being
Absolutely.
able to feel and nurture, because we are solution oriented, because that's what you got to be when you're the mothers and fathers of the
Of
earth.
the
and
earth.
planet.
The
Absolutely.
earth of civilization.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, the mothers and
Absolutely.
fathers of civilization.
We were the standard of what morals were. We were
Exactly.
the standard. So on our next talk, I want to talk about like how we're just not the standard anymore. I'm going to bring up a few different slides.
Okay.
You know, because like I said, we were the standard of morality. I mean, and we're talking about like, we're not even talking about like, I love what Courtney said. We're not talking about even 15 years ago.
Right.
We talking about how our image completely changed. And it's like, we went from what Miss JELIYA was saying, dependent to independent.
Quick.
It was a set plan. So it's like, my problem is that we don't acknowledge the set plan. That's my biggest problem.
Right.
We act like it's just like, you know, it's just like, oh, it's just a matter of fact. It's just something that happened. We're just naturally smarter than our men. No, impossible. How can
Wait, we're not.
other men be leaders?
Wait.
Yeah.
Are you saying that women are not naturally smarter than men?
I didn't say that. I'm talking about naturally.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm talking about naturally in our place.
Okay, I'm
White
saying
men are
that
empowered.
we're smarter than them.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about white men in power, Indian men in power.
Yes.
You know, Chinese men leading the field. Well, you know, that's a little iffy. We can go into that Chinese stuff, you know what I mean? It's just a little, you know. Well, I'm just saying majority of people across the earth.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Men is we always say what we say. It's a white
man's world. But James Brown said it's a man's world.
Sure did, as I saw here. But it ain't nothing without a what?
A woman.
A woman's
Okay, CC. People like to say that. James
but
Brown
even God
said
said that in every religion there is, they needed a woman. God was like, dang, I missed something.
And they used us. We were a matriarchy.
Yeah.
Another thing that
yeah.
You know, if you go back in the books and you go back in time, if you read the book of Herodotus, like Black people are the only ones that actually respected both sexes across the board.
Yeah, across the board.
We're the only ones.
Yeah.
In history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where a woman could be pharaoh, a man could be pharaoh. It's like whoever was illest.
Whoever was. And that was the thing with the Black marriage too. There was equal respect.
Yeah.
And the white women were like, how'd you get that?
Mm-hmm.
No. My man don't treat me like that. He treats me like
right. Like I don't understand that.
She's getting burned.
Just that whole feminist movement. Feminist movement. That was because white people wasn't getting white women wasn't getting
that was
their husbands.
Yep.
That was them.
Exactly.
That had nothing to do with us.
Yep. It was the control part, right? Because Black men was coming home giving their money to their wives. They was like, baby, whatever you need, whatever we need, I don't need nothing but a little pocket change. I want to go buy whatever, go see the boys, or blah, 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 blah. And white women didn't even know what their husbands were making.
No.
They
You see
had
what the
no
white man
clue.
did?
No.
You see what he did? He gave the black man right to vote before his own woman.
Yeah.
This who we dealing with. No,
Right.
this is no. If we think about this,
Mm-hmm.
this is who we are dealing with.
Yeah, that's true.
You couldn't even stand us, but you hated your woman more. That's the
Right.
crazy part about it.
Right.
That's the crazy.
Right.
It's like, so when we joined the feminist movement, nah, white women had all right. They're like, I gotta get away from this damn demon. You know what I'm saying? He
And
burned
y'all
up
gonna help.
steak and all that from the beginning of time. That's
And y'all gonna help.
That's their culture. That's their culture.
It's
Yeah.
also their help culture to come to us. We have been helping them since the beginning of time.
We have.
Absolutely.
We have been providing knowledge, providing guidance, providing everything
Absolutely.
from the beginning of time. And even
Absolutely.
subconsciously, as much as they hate us, they
Yeah.
still learn all from
They know
us.
that. They know that. But see, the difference is today we're not claiming it. When we were the Moors, we were claiming it.
That is
The
true.
beginning before that, in Egypt, we was claiming it.
That
Yeah.
is true.
Now we let them take it. And then we said, oh, it's okay. Like, yeah, you're right. We don't do rock and roll no more. You're right. We don't do country no more. We don't do. And then when a dude come out country, I remember Hootie and the Blowfish, everybody was teasing them back in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I like Hootie and the Blowfish.
Well, up in New York, let me tell you one thing.
Look, we from the South. It's a little different out here, okay? We like the music.
Let me tell you, ain't nobody was selling Hootie and the Blowfish in Brooklyn, all right?
They want
Or Philly, or none of that joint, all right?
Now he just Darius Rucker. He ain't even with.
And I'll be real, like, and I know people was listening to the Lord. They're like, that song actually ain't that bad. I was
Oh my God.
did it.
Oh my
You know, but it's because it's like we thought that they was like traitors,
Mhm.
but it's not true.
Mhm.
But that was the tradition at that time. That was the culture at that time. They stole
Yeah.
this from us. They stole this from our brothers. So don't support that.
Right,
Don't go
Right.
over there.
right.
Don't do this. Don't do this again. Although we made it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If
There's another
anything,
group, I
you
think-
should have flooded that genre. If our children right now were to
Really?
say, you know what, I'm gonna get in every genre we used to have, we would flood
made
that
it.
genre.
they didn't know nothing about. They didn't even have rhythm. Like I come from how you say, like I come from time they couldn't even dance, yo.
So
They
remember
couldn't.
when there was a famous, I don't want to lie and say their name, but there was a famous, I don't know if he was R&B or if he was a rock and roll singer. I don't know what he was, but he went up north from the South and he had to teach the white players because he couldn't get black players into the club. So he had to leave his regular players with him in his band, his regular band players, and get white players. But he had to, they was like, well, where's the sheet music? He's sheet music?
Yeah.
What you mean sheet music?
It's on the heart.
It's
on the heart.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why do we have to have music sheets? We can feel this.
Right.
You can tell me what I need. And
I freestyle. I just freestyle when I do it. I don't
Yeah.
my whole band.
Mhm.
And they hit it. I don't know what this
Y'all
is
go on
now.
Netflix, watch Ma Rainey. That
that?
movie, Ma Rainey, was
Okay.
ill. It was the first black singer on a record label.
Okay.
But Ma
The
Rainey,
20s.
was she a comedian?
That's
It's a
it.
woman.
She what?
I must be thinking about somebody else. Is that the lady? What's the one that was the comedian? Her name is Ma something too.
I don't know her name.
Oh,
They
but I
made a
saw
movie
Ma
about
Rainey. You talking about the movie that Viola Davis played in?
Yes.
That
Right.
was a really good movie.
I
Yeah.
seen that.
Yeah.
I seen that. Didn't even know what the name of it was. I seen it because she was in it, and that was good. And she was
That Billie
taking
Holiday movie was good too.
Oh, and it
Yeah.
was. And it was.
Oh my goodness!
But
It
that's
was just
like, but
horrible
that's how
what
it
they
was. We
did to her.
started. We started,
But
and
yeah-
we didn't have to deal with that crap back then. I'm saying we
We're
had
always
culture. Things were different. We had a standard. We weren't going to hear. Ma Rainey didn't take no crap whatsoever.
She didn't.
Okay? She didn't care about what that white man did, white man said. She's like, you need me. And that's what we need to understand. They need us.
And we need to stop sharing.
Stop. The sharing has
what's
to
her
stop.
name? She did the
sharing has to stop. I agree.
Bessie, what's her name?
Bessie Smith.
Bessie Smith. The one that Queen Latifah played.
Yeah,
she did the same thing. They had her coming to their house singing at their parties.
Oh yeah.
That's how dope she was and how much she ran shit. You know?
Absolutely. So you know what? Definitely. So like I think next time we wanna, we kind of want to pick up with, the whole setup of this. Like how is this set up and how it leads us today? Because we haven't really touched on today yet.
Yeah, because there's so many different things. Because even when we talked about showing these children the different movies, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, like Roots and things like that. And I was telling you that I don't think that that's a good idea for these children. And you said, why? It was a good idea for us.
Yeah.
And the reason I think it's not a good idea is because we weren't sitting around playing Grand Theft Auto shooting AR-15s on the video game every day. So the difference between the children that are seeing the things when we were younger, right, and being able to grasp it and understand it and focus it and do different things with it, these children are seeing violence. Yeah. I don't like white people. Maybe I should become a school shooter. Maybe I should become a blah blah blah, because this is what they see all the time. This is what they're doing all the time. So I don't think that is necessarily as responsible, because these are the same children that's able to go back and find out who master used to be or their grandfather and go into their now sons or great grandsons and put their social security and credit cards out
Absolutely.
on. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. And now we have to deal with how to deal with those types of things in our children, because they now have that knowledge and they now have that know-how and that willpower that is striking people in different types of ways. That's Absolutely. Just like when they went to, remember when the kids went in home for them to virtual or digital?
Yeah. Oh, please.
There was a 10 or 11-year-old little boy in Gwinnett County that shut down the whole school system because he simply said, I don't want to do this.
Absolutely. I
think the one thing that we should take away from this particular conversation, though, when it comes to culture and how it is that we're going to move forward, is just the fact that there's a lot of different healing that needs to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's also, like you said, a lot of accountability.
Yeah.
That needs to take place. And that's a lot in the older generation who feels like, well, I ain't got to say nothing. And that's why this younger generation is so lost and hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you would rather
too.
Yeah. And
then, like you said, with the, back to what you said, what both of you said, you were talking about post slavery, after emancipation. Because even after emancipation proclamation, we still wasn't free for another 3-4 years.
Right. We haven't got a chance to love each other yet.
We still have trauma that we never healed from
Never.
You know what I'm saying? So we got PT, we got post-traumatic slave syndrome and post-traumatic slave disorder as well.
Absolutely.
Our ancestors never healed from that. They never got the help that the victims of the Holocaust family got.
Never.
The victims of the Holocaust family, they family still getting therapy if they need it. They still get it for free. They offering it. They just gave it to them. The people in Vietnamese, we had to go over there and pay for messing up their country after that war. And they still get a refugee check. They still get therapy. They still get whatever they need. So post-slavery, we still have not had any help.
Absolutely not.
Healing from the trauma.
Absolutely not. And nobody see. And that's where you know, where Courtney is talking about what I brought up, the accountability, because no one is going to do it for us.
Right. We got to start holding each other accountable.
No one is going to do it for us. Like, I remember I was listening to some argument, and, you know, it was actually horrible. But, you know, they were trying to pit Africans against Black Americans. It was horrible. But
I saw that on social media.
Yeah. One point that I did hear from the African side of it was, y'all complain so much about how the white man did this and the white man did that, and they took away everything from you. How can you depend or even think that the white man is going to give any type of reparation or feel sorry for anything that he did?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a good point.
Is it though? Because they did it to everybody else and they gave it to them.
And they gave it to them.
And that's why we think that there's a possibility. But I'm just saying that adds to the possibility because we saw it happen. Now, if it didn't happen with other individuals, then maybe we would be like, maybe
but they weren't Black.
But listen,
they weren't
there has to be some form. There has to be some possibility that it could happen because that's why Malcolm X was murdered. Malcolm X was murdered because
he got to force it
to get reparations. He was building a team of lawyers.
No, I think that is more than the forcing part. And the reason why I say that is because most of those individuals who did get reparations or did get any type of payment had a whole country backing them. And when they are lying about where the majority of us is coming from, which is here, we don't have a country backing us because they're telling us the country that we are originally.
But see, that's the thing. We have not established ourselves as any.
That's the
national.
That's right.
We don't know who we are. We can't even say we Black, and they gave us that. They gave us that name. They gave us that nationality, Black.
But that's what we was talking about from the whole beginning. What is our culture?
That's it. And that's why they did not
probably take a minute to build
asking for reparations, because how we gonna give y'all something y'all don't even know who y'all are? What tribe?
Who's asking for reparations? Y'all over there or y'all over there? Y'all
right.
Y'all from the South.
And then you gotta understand the transatlantic slave trade was so multifaceted, meaning it was some in the Caribbean that maybe still live here or don't live here. It was some, you know, it was all over. You know what I'm saying? So how do you separate the people that were enslaved over there that live here now or that don't live here now? You know what I'm saying? So many different, so many, it's so
on top of them doctoring the paperwork,
dynamics to it.
I agree.
On top of them doctoring the paperwork.
Absolutely.
How can you go back so far?
Absolutely. They got the paperwork. And it's all we gotta do is, like, trust me, there's plenty of people that have connected it. It's just us as a people. They know we're not a collective. They came at the perfect time. When they came to America, they came at the perfect time. I always tell people, if we always won, we wouldn't have tribes. Okay? It wouldn't have been the Creek, Choctaw, the Iroquois, the Arawak. They would have been the California. No, if we were all in agreement with everything. You know, they're trying to act like Black people are in this one big group and we all think alike and we're all the same, from every country in Africa to every country, for Black people across the entire earth. But they don't apply it to themselves. But there is one collective. And I like when you read in the beginning about culture, it's a collective mind thought.
It is.
It's a collective mind frame. And that's the problem we have as Black people across the earth. We don't understand that it does not matter where you're from. This is why I love Pan-Africanism. Because it does not matter if you're from Australia. It does not matter if you're from Indonesia. It does not matter if you're from England. It does not matter if you're from America, Canada, South America. I don't care where you're from. How we are treated. One place is how we are seen across the board. We are disrespected here. We are disrespected in Africa. We are disrespected in Australia. We are disrespected in England. Asia. Jewish people are respected in America. They're respected in England. They're respected across the board. So it's us looking at as a collective, and they don't separate. They know when to join. Now, they may be a lot of separation within their own little group, But let me tell you, when it's time to come together, they're not separated.
No.
That's right.
We will. Now it could be we've been here in a million years, and we're like, we're just so settled in. I don't know, but that's the collective mind frame is what I think we need to get back.
Yeah, that Pan-Africanism, I love that. I love the concept of.
There's nothing better to me. Everybody might think differently. I'm just saying, having that like seeing you as my brother and sister, no matter who you are, where you're from. I don't care if you're from Venezuela. I don't care if you're from Brazil. I don't care if you're from Indonesia. I don't care if you're from Australia. I don't care if you're from Nigeria, South America, South Africa, where I don't care. You are me.
Your struggle is my struggle. Yep. Your struggle is my struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When one of us is disrespected, all of us are disrespected.
That's how I think.
Exactly.
That's how I think. But I don't think it's the general consensus. We have ADOS now. We have the FBA now. And they're separating us. I think this is a detriment. Personally. We can argue the point. But I know if we're not seen, if we're not respected here, we're not respected over there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it from any Black person anywhere. From Africa to the West Indies to Europe to America to South America to Central America. If we do not represent ourselves everywhere we go as a certain standard, we were talking about standards, we were talking about culture.
Yeah.
There's a collective culture amongst the Asians. You know, there's between Japanese, a Taiwanese, North Korean, a South Korean. Now they have differences, but guess what? We across the world, people see a certain standard.
Yeah.
And I used to tell my friends that was Asian, I was like, at least you got a positive stereotype. Okay? Whether or not it's true or not. I had a Chinese friend like, I'm not even smart. I didn't like no math, was failing out of school, all that. I said, but they still gonna give you the benefit of the doubt.
They're gonna pass your ass just because.
Over me.
Just because.
Just because you Chinese.
Yep.
Just because you Chinese. I don't care that you like hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You from Brooklyn? So what?
Okay, I know you know how to fix my computer. Quit playing. I know you know.
Okay. No, stop playing though. I know you know what's going on. You know? And people I'm like, that's a positive
don't do that.
stereotype.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a positive stereotype than a negative one.
Agreed.
Because we all see each other. We all we're like crabs in a barrel.
And a lot of people don't want to be, a lot of Black people don't want to be tied to the shame of slavery and the shame of having XYZ. And they just want to try to erase those pieces of them, even though it's so much embedded in them.
Yeah, it's cool. But guess what? When you come to America, there ain't nothing else. You understand what I'm saying? So when you come to America, know that's the history that's tied here. So I don't care if you're African. I don't care if you're West Indian. No, that's what was here.
And
so nobody's looking at you.
That red, white, and blue. That red, white, and blue flag that's flying on every post office, or every federal government building got your ancestors' blood.
Okay. And Black people, just like how you can't tell no Asian people apart, but you think white people sitting there talking about you from Nigeria? You think they care? Do you think they care?
The police do.
I'm just saying.
I ain't never seen no African individual go to jail.
I have in Brooklyn.
I ain't seen
in New York. The people don't get really rounded up
when it come to Black. They don't.
You will get rounded up.
Yeah, they arrest Africans too.
It don't matter because they can't tell the difference.
Most get out of tickets. They start talking the law. They be like,
in New York, back in the day, nobody knew. You think anybody cared that Nicki Minaj was from Trinidad? That Biggie was Jamaican? That Busta Rhymes was Jamaican?
One of those things. Busta Rhymes is Jamaican?
See? Thank you. There you go. There you go. I rest my case. Okay? I rest my case.
I didn't know neither one of those things.
Missy Elliott.
I knew Biggie was Jamaican.
I didn't know
because
either
of
one
his mother.
did.
You know, his mother speaks.
True.
Wait, you know, you can tell his mother is
I
Jamaican.
did not know that. I
That's
just learned
true.
something about each one of them.
And I
And
knew
I
that
love
Busta
her.
Rhymes was Jamaican because he talks about his Jamaican roots a lot.
Never
And, who else did you mention?
KRS
Oh yeah, and I knew
One
about Nicki
too.
Minaj too.
didn't know that.
Because
Didn't know any of those.
she got the perfume called Trini Girl. And
Trinidad.
it's
Oh, does she? Okay,
Trinidad.
go
Yeah,
ahead,
she's
Nikki.
from Trinidad. Yeah.
But see,
Did not know that.
you know why you didn't know? Because before in the 90s,
You was just black.
early 2000s, thank you.
You were just
We
black.
were one collective. There
We
was
were.
no difference. We could go even further back into
Yeah.
people in the 70s and 80s singing. Like, it didn't matter if you was from the Caribbean. I had, you know how many friends I didn't know that was freaking from the islands? My own family didn't know they were from the islands. You know what I'm saying?
Like what? We here.
We what?
Look,
my
but wait.
God.
But let's ask the real black question. We got land over there?
Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I will be in Barbados. Yeah, where we
Okay.
at? Where we at? Puerto Rico, give it up. Okay.
Right.
Okay. My Tainos out there, what's up? What's up? Okay.
Okay, so wait, so I have a question.
Yeah.
If that's the case of us talking about being a collective and making sure that, you know, we support each other and we look at each other as equals, right? Across the board as black people or African people or melanated people or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
What about those? What about that pressure to become a human race? Because now, wait, because I know I
So you see me like,
Did you see what Chef did?
yeah, nah.
And it was crazy. So, and I say that because, you know, that's the new. Remember, you said it best, Shep, earlier. They're always a couple steps ahead of us.
Yeah.
So if they make you feel like we should all just be one, there shouldn't be a blah, 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 even though they're still together.
Yeah.
But it's like propaganda to make you feel like, well, you shouldn't want to be together.
Yeah.
Just like you can't stand in front of a corner store with 3 of your buddies, or y'all are doing gang-related activity and you're loitering.
Yeah.
So, but there are those individuals which we keep seeing happen generation after generation that falls into that pressure and that emotion of no one is going to understand me going over here and I should be accepted. And now we are talking about being the human race.
And I think that we can't even get there because number one, to be human, you have to have a hue. That's number one.
Right. I was just thinking the same thing. Yep.
We gonna let them live. Go ahead.
That's number one.
Human.
Number
When they speak
two,
when they say the word human, they speak of melanated people.
and they do call themselves man.
The color.
They do.
Yeah, they call themselves man.
You know,
So,
when I was growing
mankind.
up, white people were my dad used to call them mankind, a kind. of
Mankind.
man.
Yeah, that's what I'm
A
saying. They
kind
call
of
themselves
man.
mankind. Absolutely. And that's what I need to see. That's okay. You are different. See, this is what they try to like twist our head to believe like it's not okay. You are a mankind, a kind of a man. It's okay.
Yeah,
That's
they don't want
who
you to
you
believe
are.
different.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to believe that because they don't want you to feel like you shouldn't be retaliate over them because we're this with them because we're the same.
Yeah, but we're not the same. That's
Well, we're not. I say it all the time. We know it.
We're not the same. We're not the same. So, and it's okay to not be the same. That's where I think the biggest problem comes in. We think it's just like a shame that we're not the rest. You crazy? We defy gravity right now. Shelly said
Right
that
now.
she's defying gravity.
Right
you
now.
can never be us. On your
Right
best
now.
day. On your best
Effortlessly
day.
doing
Okay.
nothing. Not
I
a
don't wanna
single
hear it.
finger.
I don't want to hear it. You are a walking miracle right now.
Right now.
They cannot even explain mathematically
These
why
nine
their hair is
ethers,
devastated or how it do.
9 ethers I wear them proudly.
Okay.
And that's also why they don't
They're
teach it in
antennas.
cosmetology school, because they can't explain it.
And that's okay.
It is.
That's why I used to tell people like all types of so that's okay. We're not the same.
Looked at it and we really don't care if you're a lesser form of.
No, we never did. We've always been helping. This is in our nature. This is in our nature and our heart and our soul. We've always been helping them along the way. And that's what we forgot, that we helped them. Now we think that they're helping us. And we done regressed as a whole humanity being under them. As a human, as the whole race across the board. When we was leading, we talking about the Egyptian times, when we was leading the Aztecs and Native America, are you kidding? We were at our height. They're still duplicating what we're doing right now, what we were doing back then.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You think we didn't have no computers? You think we didn't have no cars? You think we didn't have no
airplanes all over the walls?
Come on, man.
Okay, computers and airplanes. They were doing
and we still haven't gotten to the highest form that they've got.
We're back in time because they've been holding us back, and we're holding ourselves back. It's more than that. And so I said it's a fine line, or where you keep putting the blame. We believe their nonsense. We're believing it. If we said tomorrow, guess what? Money don't mean nothing. If we collectively said it, your money's supposed to be run off of gold, right? Gold and silver. Where's gold and silver from? Not nowhere where you from.
Right.
Not now single piece where you from.
Right.
Not nowhere where you from.
Right.
Guess what? All that cobalt you put in cell phones, guess where they at? Not nowhere where you from.
Not nowhere where you from. That coltan coming right out of the Congo, honey.
All that medicine, guess where it's at? Not nowhere where you're from.
Not nowhere where you
Not
from.
a single place. It's too cold to grow these medical.
The blood diamond. The blood diamond. Not nowhere where you from.
Not nowhere where you from. See, if we use that against them, if we constantly put it in their face, like they constantly put some nonsense in our face, how we not something, then we beginning somewhere. We go with their sickness. See, that's what I'm saying. They're making us sick. We're going along with their mental illness. We never did that up until recently. We like, everybody knew it. We like, white people crazy. I mean, it was a known fact. It was a known fact across the black race.
Yeah.
I don't care where you was from.
That's why there was such thing. There's a such thing.
Crazy.
White people shit. That was crazy.
That's white people stuff.
That's what they used to call it. That's what
I can't tell you about it. That's what they do.
Call it. Shoot, I call it that sometimes myself.
That's white people stuff. And it's okay. That's what y'all do. We trying to help you. We've been trying to help you along the way.
That's some stuff that we would never be into.
Never.
You already know. Oh yeah, that's
never.
That's they stuff. That's they do.
The black woman
I raise
is
my flag
God.
for my sister. I raise my flag 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 for my sister. I raise my flag.